What's up, guys? Welcome to this deck profile. I have a special one for you guys today, and it's a retro profile. So it's not anything with current, and I'm really excited to be profiling this today. So I want to give a huge shout out to a couple people who kind of inspired me to do this. First, Twiz, also known as I guess Inch95, as well as Yugioh History, aka Joe Girolando. I think both these people have very informative content about retro Yu-Gi-Oh and the history of Yu-Gi-Oh. And after watching both of the content that they have, information will be in the description box below. I kind of got inspired to build my first retro format deck. I guess like you can consider Go my first deck, but this is like the first retro deck that I built that I put a lot of time, effort, and money into. So I really enjoyed it. I've been playing it with big names in like the Yu-Gi-Oh industry or the Yu-Gi-Oh. It feels weird to say Yu-Gi-Oh industry, but like in the I guess the Yu-Gi-Oh space, like Jesse, Joe. I played Mario, like other content creators. Like it's been a lot of fun, and I've really been enjoying this. Heroes is like one of my favorite like cards. Like GX reminds me a lot about the childhood. Growing up watching this kind of stuff, so I decided to like finally build this. Even though it's not the best deck in Tengu Plant YCS Toronto format, it's a deck that I've been enjoying playing. It's quite literally a monkey flip deck, but hey, well, it's there's still a lot of turns back and forth, and so I like that about it. If you want to learn more about this format and the history of this format, go check out Jojo Orlando's video in the description box below. That will give you a lot of insight into a lot of the cards that are being played, and the format itself. But I guess I'll just get started with the deck profile, and I'll kind of like also do a small snippet about a little bit about what I learned playing this format as well. I'll start off with 3 Alias. This is the heart and soul of the deck. This is why it's important is because it's a Gemini monster, so it has good synergy with Gemini Spark, a really strong card during this format, and that's like the main reason why you play this. It's also a light monster, which lets you Miracle Fusion into Shining. So you kind of want to max out on this card because of that. Then you have one Elemental Hero Stratos. Stratos is actually at 1 during this time. It's a very powerful card for a lot of reasons, right? Like if you watch any of Joe's video, he kind of talks about how like there's like T heroes. There was like a lot of formats where Stratos was just like so broken. So this card was at 1. It has the ability to pop back row non-targeting, and of course like searches you another copy of Alias. So just a very powerful card during this format, and it's a no-brainer to like play it. There's also the Crusader of Endymion. This was something that people played, but not really. A lot of people played Evocator Chevalier instead, but I think Crusader is a better option after talking to Joe, because it's a light monster, not for Construct, like my chat is saying, but it's a light monster for Shining, and Shining is like the best Miracle Fusion monster target you can go into. It's also a Gemini monster, which is really relevant because it gives you more access to Gemini Spark targets, and it's a 1900 beater, so just a very strong card overall. It's a spellcaster, not a warrior, so like you can search it off Rhoda, whereas Chevalier you can, but I don't think that's as important. But yeah, these are like the 5 main monsters that you play for Engine. And then of course we're gonna when we talk about 2011 format, one of the cards that really shined during this time was Thunder King. I would consider this card like just super oppressive. It stops your opponent from searching, right? When Duality got released not too long ago, so um, Thunder King stops that. It searches like search cards like E-Call, like Rhoda. So it's very strong for that. It's also very strong because a lot of people would normal summon Torguide, summon Sangan, and pass because in YCS Toronto format, which is the format that I built my deck for, when you detach Sangan, you don't get its effect. They finally fixed that ruling by YCS Toronto, aka like September 2011. So Thunder King was very strong because people would go Torguide, summon Sangan, pass. If you summon a Torguide and attack into the Sangan, they don't get a search off the Sangan, which is like really important. And of course this card can negate special summons. So that by itself also makes this card very powerful. 1900 monster. It's a light monster, which lets you make Shining a lot easier. Not much more to say about it. So yeah, so that pretty much cuts it for the main monster count. We have a total of 8. I'm sorry, in the main deck, and yeah, now we're gonna get into the spells. Hero Beat is a trap deck. For those of you guys who haven't guessed it already, and one of the ways that you can help with consistency during these times is Pot of Duality. This card helps you dig into your engine when you're going first. I side this card out a lot going second because it conflicts with Cyber Dragon. Your opponent will most likely summon a opposing Thunder King, so you're going to have dead cards in your hand. So Duality is a very strong card in the main deck, but it's a side out card usually because you don't want to have cards dead due to like Thunder King being in the format. Next we have 3 Miracle Fusion. This card is absolutely insane. As you can see, this card helps you get access to Shining, can summon Absolute Zero. Just a very strong card that is a big power card, big tempo swing for you. And of course, if your opponent tries to out the Shining, you get resources back, so that keeps you in the game. So it's just a very good, powerful card. I play this card at 3. Some people choose to play at 2, but I think it's a card that I want to have as much as I can in like my starting hand, if not like draw it later. It's just a really good recovery card and very powerful card to summon boss monsters. Then we have 3 Gemini Spark, right? The reason why this deck was so strong, Gemini Spark was able to play around your opponent's bottomless and D prison, and it also makes it really like your opponent would legit like warning an alias because they would be so afraid of Gemini Spark. So it's just like very very strong. Like whenever you normal summon an alias and you pass, your opponent has to always consider the fact whether or not you have a Spark set. So it's very very hard to like play into this card. So this card is like very very good. Then you have 2 MST. This is like for other back row decks. Like you have to understand, it's not just gonna be Tengu plans during this format. Like if you were to go to a YCS during this time, people were also playing decks like TG Stun. So this card was like good in this, hitting like the Horn of Phantom Beast. It was like good into like other trap decks as well. So having this card is just like nice utility. So you still like it. You can probably hit a warning, a solemn, or anything of that sort. So you still want to have some sort of back row removal. And then a card that wasn't that common during this format, but a card that I really like is Forbidden Lands. This card is really nice because it helps you like beat bottomless. It helps you beat prison, especially on your Shining. And prison on your Shining is like very problematic because it makes it so that you don't get the add back. So this card protects you against that, and it makes it so that it's a lot safer for you to like go for plays and like go for Miracle Fusion. So I really like this card. And sometimes like you just use it for damage step shenanigans, just so you can beat over your opponent's Thunder King as well. So I just like it. It beats like TG Stun, which is like a very problematic deck for this as well, because it can like in damage step they will Horn of Phantom Beast on reds, because there's infinite amount of chains that can happen in the damage step. You can like lance them after they Phantom Beast. Like their Tengu, so like this card is just like so powerful. Then we have some one-ofs. Rhoda. I only play 1 E-Call even though it was at 3 during this format, mainly because you don't want to see too many hero monsters in your hand. You typically only want to see 1 or 2 at best. So these are just for consistency. And 1 and 1 is fine. You also don't want to play too many search cards because they play into it plays into what is it called? It plays into Thunder King, right? Because Thunder King is such a big card this format, you don't want to lose to Thunder King. So having Rhoda, E-Call, and then 3 Pot of Duality, which is only 5 cards in the deck that loses Thunder King, is like kind of fine. So that was like the logic. Then for power spells, Heavy, Dark Hole, Reborn, Book of Moon. So I got inspired. I wasn't playing Heavy originally in my hero list, but I decided to play it because I saw Joe's Long Beach YCS 2012 profile where he topped 4 Long Beach with a hero deck, and I decided to play this in my main deck because no one expects a trap deck to be playing Heavy, and this will like punish like a lot of like people who think that like because you're playing a hero deck that you don't have Heavy. So I really like it. Like it catches a lot of people by surprise. Hole is no brainer, just an easy board wipe. So I really like it. Monster Reborn. And there's self-explanatory. This is one of the cards that actually helps you get a synchro tuner, because you can reborn your opponent's tuner, and then that's how you get access to like some synchro plays. And then of course Book of Moon, just a very versatile card. Book of Moon is always good during this format. There's just so many applications where this card comes up. You can like activate Stratos effect to like pop back row. Like you can chain Book of Moon to like dodge Veiler on the Stratos, and then like pop back row. So it's just like very very versatile card. I really like it. So yep. For traps, Skill Drain, if you guys didn't know, went to 3 during the September 2011 ban list. And with that, you know, made a lot of trap decks a little bit better. But obviously, Heavy got released in this ban list, so you have to play a little bit more skillful with the trap decks now, because you have to like be careful on how many cards you set, bluffing and all that good stuff. And this is like one of the decks that takes advantage of Skill Drain because it doesn't care about any like activated effects on the field. So very, very powerful card. Very strong against like Tengu plants. Then you have 3 Prison. Prison was at 3 during this format as well. Prison is like very strong. Banishing your opponent's Thunder King. Like you'll see a lot when you play in the 2011 format that people are really scared to attack your deck, especially if they find out you're playing a deck like Heroes or a trap deck, because they might hit a Prison. The only card that like eats Prison really well is like Tengu. But if they don't open Tengu and open like Thunder Kings, they're afraid to like even crash Thunder King to like Alias because they're afraid of like Prison, or they're afraid of even attacking directly when you like set just even 2 cards. So bluffing Prison is like one of the best things you can do. It's just a very powerful card and punishes like so much. Then we play 2 Bottomless because we're at 2. This card is like insane. There's not much to really say about it. But destroys and then banish the card. I really like it. 2 Hero Blast, only 2. You don't want to brick on these. It's a really good card to like let you add back Alias and out your opponent's Thunder King. It can out like Tengu's, pops it out like it can out the Tor guy that gets summoned, so they can make a rank 3 play. It's just a very versatile card. It can destroy Spirit Reaper, which is really nice too because Spirit Reaper is like sometimes really annoying to out. And yeah, this is a good thing too. Prison doesn't destroy, so Prison also like beats Stardust Dragon, which is really nice. And that was a very common card during this time. And then we have the Solemn Brigade. You know, 2 Warning, 1 Judgment, because that's what was available during this time. Judgment was at 1 and Warning was at 2, so you just play these. These cards are just like generically very strong for any deck of this format. So you just play them because they were just like good cards. I mean, negating like the summon of Tengu so it doesn't get its effect is very powerful. Negating like, for example, the summon of Black Rose Dragon. Like there's just so many applications of negating summons being very, very strong during this format. And so you definitely want to have these in your deck. And then, of course, the last 3 trap is 1 Mirror Force, 1 Torrential, and then 1 Road. So it's just like the blowout traps. So you played 1 Mirror Force because it destroys all your opponent's monsters and punishes them. And then you play Torrential Tribute because it punishes them if they overextend too much. And then Starlight Road because it protects your back row because Judgment is at 1. So just one ofs that are like pretty good. And then that's pretty much it for the main deck, guys. For the extra deck, we're going to have 3 Shining, Heart and Soul of this deck. Really good card to help you recur your resources. There's not much more to say about it. For the rest of Hero Miracle targets, it's Nova. You never really get to make this card, but it's just there just in case you monster reborn a fire monster or something and then make Nova. Probably won't come up, but I just have it there anyways. Absolute Zero, you might notice that in the main deck that there's no water monsters, but I play Snowman Eater in the side deck, so this card can come up. We play Gaia, which is not max rarity because hero players just buy out secret rare first Gaia's Sag. But Gaia is there because you max your opponent, you have an earth monsters in the graveyard, so it makes Gaia alive. It's a very strong card because it makes your opponent lose half its attack, and then this gains them out. So this can like help you deal 2200 and swing for game really easily somehow. And then the last fusion monster is Chimera Tech Forest Dragon because against Karakuris, you can like literally like wipe their entire board. So it's like very, very strong card. And then of course it also beats your opponent Cyber Dragons because you can like summon your Cyber Dragon to their Cyber Dragon and then like just like contact fuse for Fortress. So very powerful. And then so that's pretty much it for the fusions. Great Tornado was not out during this time. It came out in GX, which is like a little bit after YCS Toronto, but it was available for YCS Columbus. So if you notice me not playing Great Tornadoes for that reason. Next, we have XCs, 2 Utopia, and then we have 1 Roach. Utopia is a light monster that you can like overlay 2 level 4s for. It also makes it so that it guarantees Alias and like Stratos hitting the graveyard so that it makes it so that your Miracle is live. Because if your opponent has a prison, you sometimes want to make this and then attack into it because if you get prisoned, then they hit the graveyard for sure. So that's like kind of like cool as well. Unless you have Spark, obviously, then you don't mind trading into it. But for the most part, this is really nice. And of course, it's also a light monster. It's a warrior. Not that that matters as much, but being a light monster is nice because you can Miracle Fusion with it later. And then we have, for some synchros, we have Allied Justice Catastor. Randomly, you can like normal summon Veiler and then make this. You can also like Monster Reborn their Bulb or something and then make Veiler with like any of your level 4 monsters. So kind of want to have this. It randomly comes up, especially against like TG decks where they have like tuners and they like TG swap your Alias. I mean your what is that card called? The Shining. So you want to make this to like attack over it and then destroy it. And then we have Black Rose Dragon. Sometimes you can make this card if you like Monster Reborn a tuner. So I just have it in the extra deck just in case that ever comes up. Then we have a Stardust Dragon because of Starlight Road. So that's in there. We have Colossal Fighter. I honestly never get to summon this card, but it just looks pretty. So I just put it in there. Honestly, this card can be like anything else. And then the last card is Trishula. So if you have 2 level 4s, you can like Monster Reborn a Veiler, Bulb, Spore. And then you can just trish your opponent, and then that's comedy. So I just have it in there anyways. So yeah, that's pretty much it for all the synchros I play. Sometimes I wish I had a Brio in here, which is probably what the Colossal Fighter should be replaced with. Because there's some level 2 tuners like the TG Striker that you can like just make Brio with, and then you priority with Brio to like go for games. So, yep. Yeah. And then for the side deck, we have triple Cyber Dragon, one of the defining cards of this format as well, because why this card was so good, especially going second, was because it answers your opponent's Thunder Kings, right? So that made it very, very powerful. So like what it can do is you special summon this, your opponent has to like negate the summon of this and you know, stop the Thunder King from stop this card from attacking the Thunder King. So Cyber Dragon is just very strong against Karakuri's, like as I mentioned over any machine decks. This card can just like contact fuse, which is like so problematic. It's also a light monster, which is relevant for Miracle Fusion. It can it's 2100, which can beat over like a lot of monsters that has 2000 defense, like the Breed Dragon. So it's just like very, very, very strong card. I maxed it out because I want to see it going second. Just a very strong card that like just threatens a lot. Next we have 3 Maxi. I don't think Maxi really needs explanation, but against the Tengu Plant decks, you want to see it. I don't main this card because if I was like trying to like, you know, think about this format and the history of this format, like you're not always going to play against Tengu Plants. And like this card was like mainly really good against Tengu Plants. So if you don't play it, then you have dead cards. So you just want to like side this for like those decks and then like have it be good for that. So it's also like an Earth monster, so like it's not really that good with Miracle Fusion. So yeah, I think this card is like still like, you know, you still have to like side it. It's just very powerful. And then we of course have 1 Veiler, 1 Crow. So the logic was this is like I usually for like the Tengu Plant deck I want to side 3 Maxi, 1 Crow, 1 Veiler. The Crow is like really nice because it can basically make sure that their Avarice doesn't resolve, and then the Veiler can like stop your opponent's Tour Guide, which isn't amazing, but it's a light monster that puts you in the grave, so it makes your Alias Miracle Fusion live a lot quicker, which is like kind of cool. And then of course like Veiler is also a tuner, so like sometimes that may come up. So yeah, so this was like the logic, and also the Veiler is like kind of decent to like X Sabers. Crow is really strong as well into like Gotham's Call. So these are like generic like hand traps that are like decent one of. So like, you know, you can like hold because there's so many turns back and forth that can like punish your opponent for going Avarice, E-Call, Gotham's E-Call, all that good stuff. And then we play 2 Snowman Eater. Very strong because when you go first, this card can answer your opponent's Thunder Kings. It's good against the mirror match. So just a very, very strong card overall. 1900 defense is not easy for a lot of decks to out. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It also lets you make absolute 0. So that's also kind of cool. I mean, this doesn't matter, but like in the Tengu Plant deck, if you sided this was also level 3 that you can make Leviathan Dragon with, or it can make a Levy with. So that also comes up. Then we have 3 Dark Bribes. I got inspired to play this by watching Joe's 2012 Weiser's Long Beach profile. I think this card is amazing. Mainly because like as long as you maintain control, like it doesn't matter if they draw one. Um, and so it just makes you feel really safe too. The reason why this is better than Bandit is because this can negate spells while this cannot. So that's like by itself just makes this better than this. Even though this is technically you pay 1,000, but I didn't want to be paying 1,000 life points for like warnings, solemns, and like skill drains. I'd rather just give them the draw and maintain control. And so like, but overall, I think these are good for like trap deck mirror matches. So I have 5 cards in just for that, and so that's pretty much wraps my my deck profile for this retro format. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. Some notable ones I think might come up is if you're not as familiar with this format, is like why no Bubble Man. So Bubble Man wasn't really that good until later when more XYZs got introduced. Like the most notable level 4, rank 4's XYZ is during this time was Roach and the Utopia, right? So we didn't get Excalibur Knight, we didn't get any of like the more notable ones like Blade Armor Ninja. So it just didn't make the Bubble Beat version good until we did eventually get those. So yeah, so that's pretty much it, guys. Again, shout outs to Joe and Twiz for kind of inspiring me to like do this, as well as Jesse, who kind of also pushed me to like play 2011 with him. I'm just gonna go through a quick reversal of the deck so you guys can see it one more time in action. Yeah, I've been having a lot of fun. This is a very skillful format with such a huge diversity in deck, so I highly encourage you guys to like try this format out, get the cards for it. I honestly think this is going to be the new GOAT format, in my opinion. Super skillful, super fun, and whenever I get a chance, I try to play this on stream. So go check me out as well on Twitch if you haven't already at twitch.tv/pack_official_TCG. And yeah, I appreciate you guys so much. Even though I've only been playing for since July of 2019, I've came to like really love the game and have an appreciation for formats that I haven't played yet. And this is definitely one of those formats that I really appreciate. So, guys, if you haven't already, please comment, like, and subscribe. And let me know what do you think about my deck for 2011. Any changes you might make, any tips you might have. And yeah, I appreciate you guys so much. And I'll see you in the next one. All right, peace.